Greetings, everyone, and hello. I'm Elise Eidmann-Adol, the Executive Director of the National Writing Project, and we couldn't be more thrilled to welcome so many people, some of you on Zoom, some of you on YouTube, to the launch of the Right Now Teacher Studio. We're thrilled because it means that there are so many people who care so deeply about writing. Writing in all its forms. It's actually more than our middle name, the National Writing Project. It's also this amazing tool. When we think about teaching writing, we think about how we can support all our students, all our colleagues to use this tool to make and to do extraordinary things, to make knowledge, to make new visions about who we are and what we could become, to make new ways to connect with each other across time and space, as writers and readers do. So all of us at the National Writing Project think that all teachers, whoever you may be, who want to think about how our students can be makers, doers, and producers in our classroom because we value writing, we think all those educators are really special people. So we wanted to create a place where teachers, writers, and teacher writers can find each other, can learn, can connect, and can make together. So we're really delighted you're here today and that you want to be part of that place. And we want to invite you to be part of it. We were thinking if we were launching a ship, this would be the moment when we break the champagne on the bow. Well, we're all on Zoom or YouTube, we're all at our screens, and we can't quite do that. So we've invited a special guest to join us to celebrate with us the potential of what we could do together as educators who care about writing and can work together to do, to be, and to make. So our closest approximation of popping the cork on a bottle of champagne or smashing it into the bow is actually to invite educator and slam poet Taylor Mali to bring his spark and his answer to the question, what do teachers make, to our launch. I give Elise, you all now our special guest, Taylor Mali.
Thank you so much. I can see that whoever is behind the scenes is spotlighting me. And Elise, thank you so much for that. I wasn't planning on doing this, but something you said, if we were launching a ship, this is what we would do. I'm going to read a poem that I had not planned on doing called First Day of School. This is it, the most important moment, the original transgression. If this were writing, this would be the opening line, except you'd be able to go back and change it if you didn't get it right. If this were love at first sight, this would be the moment we bumped into each other, the night we began our mutual confessions. It's time to recalibrate and revise the rambling digression of your summer eyes and focus on a more decorous expression. Say the red and yellow leaves of the trees that have scattered themselves all over the lawn with abandon and indiscretion. With abandon and indiscretion, I'm looking at you, Gregorio, right now. With abandon and indiscretion. I'm going to say it 2 more times because I want to see what the ASL signs are for abandon and indiscretion. Be like the early autumn air and freshen, because school is now in session and you know the old expression, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Thank you so much. I am so honored to be here, and I'm only here for another 4 minutes. So, and then I'm going to go leave you because I've got dinner guests and 2 kids under 6 or 6 and under, who I'm leaving to my wife and our dinner guests. And we're here to launch this new platform that you have, and I know that it's either called Right Now or Now This or that's from John Oliver, and I always get it wrong, and I'm supposed to have it here. I'm looking at Tanya Baker, who's like my connection here, and it's just, I know it's right now. I'm looking at you right now, right now. How awful is it? And I cannot blame the beer that I'm drinking. How awful is it that I flubbed the name of the platform that I am here to welcome you to, because it is such an awesome idea. There are so many, there are other places where people who believe strongly in the teaching of writing can trade ideas, but it is public. And so this is a fabulous idea that those of us who take this seriously can trade articles and ideas and writing prompts. And I wish you well. And I will I'll talk to Tanya and Elise, and I'm gonna get on this platform. I don't expect to be user number 1, but maybe I'll be user number 9. Maybe I can be in the top 9 or in the top 100. And so you will see me on this platform, because I am passionate about the teaching of writing, which is why all of you are here as well. And so my job here is to read you a poem and to wish you well, and also to give you an assignment, because my wife works in publishing, and she and I met when she edited this book, What Teachers Make, in praise of the greatest job in the world, which is a book I wrote now 9 years ago, after my most well-known poem, What Teachers Make, which I'm not going to read now. And she was the one who said, hey, you know what? I think there's a book here. And shout out to her mother, Dr. Ellen Kahn, who is a principal and a superintendent out in Seattle Public Schools, who kept sending Rachel, my wife, it's like, you know, you ought to reach out to this guy and see if he's got a book that he wants to write. And she did, and I did. In fact, I had my agent write back to her and say, yes, of course I've thought about writing a book. I have 3 books of poetry. To which my not yet quite future wife said, no, I mean a real book. Anyway, What Teachers Make, the poem and the book, have had their own lifespans, and I've got and Rachel on Monday went into HarperCollins to clean out her office, which she had not been in since March 13th of 2020. And she came back and said, hey, you know, I found a hardback copy of the first edition of What Teachers Make. And so I said, oh, I know, I'm going to give that away. I'm going to give that away on Thursday night, June 3rd, when I talk to the National Writing Project about their new platform. So here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to read a poem, but if you're the type of teacher who likes to, especially in the last year, you've discovered that you can have your attention on 2 different places at once, I'm going to give you a prompt, and you're going to put it in the chat. All right. And I'm going to use as the prompt, I'm going to use the game that I invented a couple of years ago called Metaphor Dice. And it's this is a shameless plug for my game. And you roll 3 dice, red, white, and blue. The reds are the big concepts. The blues are the smaller objects, and the white are the adjectives, and you get a metaphor. And the metaphor I have decided that I want you to explore is this: your ego is an everyday melody, or the ego, or my ego. The ego is an everyday melody, which is to say, or if you would like to Mary Oliverize the metaphor, you can change it to the everyday melody of the ego, or of my ego. But when I leave, go ahead and put in the chat your 1 or 2 sentence justifications of that metaphor. The ego is an everyday melody, which is to say, and then justify it. And although I have to go and have dinner and be a father, Tanya Baker is going to be reading all of the chat, and she will pick a winner, and the winner will get this hard copy first edition of What Teachers Make, signed and inscribed to whomever you would like. And now it's probably time for me to just read this poem and go. And I've done a couple of events for various state chapters of the National Writing Project. And here's a poem that seems to go over well with you people. I would say you people, except I am one of you. So here's a poem that seems to go over well with those of us who love the written word and how to teach it. And here's a poem from my book called What Learning Leaves. And you know what, Tanya, go ahead and pick a runner-up, because I found out recently that 4 copies of this book had been accidentally printed upside down. And so I gave them away on Facebook, and I signed one of them, to my favorite teacher, and I signed it upside down, except that didn't happen to be one of the books that was printed upside down. So I have this one copy of the book that I'm reading from tonight, and it says my favorite teacher on the front of it, but it is upside down for reasons that only you will know, because you will, if you get this, not be one of the ones who has the book that is upside down. All right. Thank you for having me. Good luck with the platform. I'm going to be on it, and I'm going to read this poem and then let you have the rest of your meeting and go eat my dinner with my dinner guests, because it's dinner time. It's 7:13 here in Brooklyn. And this is called As Far as Words Go, or How to Revise Your Paper. Because we all know when you're teaching writing, what you're really teaching is rewriting, right? Gregorio, what's the sign for writing? And what's the sign for rewriting? Okay, all right. I can see the preface. There's like a little preface before he does the sign. As far as words go, or how to revise your paper. First of all, find a better title and make it more like yourself. Inventive, a bit punchy, but good at heart. The real problem is you're not telling me enough about far too much. So reach for the pen, the one with ink as red as your blood is blue. I taught at a private school when I wrote this. So reach for the pen, the one with ink as red as your blood is blue, and tell me much more about much less. Sharpen your mind as if it were a pencil, wet and hone it to its finest point. And then as you write, press harder, write deeper. Leave the imprint of your words so that they can still be read on the underpages of a loose leaf pad. If some of your sentences are long, amusing puzzles with a syntactic complexity that rivals the brain, make others short. If your paper were to catch fire, make your introduction be the paragraph you would rush to save first. And as far as words go, mix the luscious Latinate ones with spicy bits and gritty chunks of good Germanic stuff. Luxuriate in the romance of all languages. Make them all your own tongue. Revise and rewrite and switch around and scratch things out using carets, arrows, and asterisks. And Gregorio, let me just say, because that is a homonym, that I don't mean carrots, the vegetable, but the orthographic symbol, the caret. I wonder in ASL if there is a difference, because I know that in ASL certain words can be said to rhyme. So there is carrot, the vegetable, and then there is CARET, caret, the little circumflex. Revise and rewrite and switch around and scratch things out using carets, arrows, and asterisks until you stumble at last on the eloquent. National Writing Project. Good luck with the launch of your platform, which is either called Write Now or Write This or Here Now or Hear This Now. Good luck on stumbling at last on the eloquent. I'm going to turn off my camera and say goodbye, but I'm still here for just a few more moments. Goodbye, and thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Taylor. That was the effervescence we thought this party might need. We appreciate you being here. I don't know, you've left me with an impossible task if you're following the chat at all, but we'll sort that out later. Let's see. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Baker, and I am the director of national programs at the National Writing Project. And I am so excited to tell you a little bit about how we got here building the Right Now Teacher Studio, and a little bit about how it will work and how excited we are about it. Before I had this job, I was a high school English teacher in Brewer, Maine. Often in my first 5 years of teaching, I thought about quitting. The job was big, the job was hard, the job was complex, but most of all, the job was lonely. There was never another set of adult eyes and ears and hands when things went wrong, or even to see it when it went right, for that matter. Then I attended the inaugural Invitational Summer Institute for the then brand new Maine Writing Project, which quite literally changed the trajectory of my life, because here I am talking to you from California, of all things. Here at the National Writing Project, we think a lot about who has access to those kinds of experiences that I had in the Invitational Summer Institute and who doesn't. We recognize that even though local sites reach thousands of teachers each summer, that actually millions of teachers who would like to get better at teaching writing, who would like to have other adults to talk to and work with, who would like to have awesome reading and writing groups, don't have access to the National Writing Project. So we've been thinking about that for a long time, and then cut to 2020, and what seemed impossible, getting all teachers to teach and work and socialize online, suddenly became our new normal. And while we couldn't move around the country to see and work with amazing writing teachers face to face, we thought we should use our time to create a space that would capitalize on everything that we were learning about online communities and workspaces. We wanted a place where teachers interested in teaching writing could access great content. Where they could find colleagues interested in the same problems of practice and new learning opportunities that they were. Where they could swap stories and experiences and ideas. In short, we designed a place where we hope that through participation, together we will offer each other inspiration, conversation, and expert perspectives each and every day. So how does this teacher studio work? Well, basically, it's a big online community of practice. And it starts with a main feed. So every time that you log in, you find a main feed. And as you can see in these sort of pink and white bars across the middle, you control what you see, how often, how much, and in what order. There are groups, so you can join groups to discuss a shared interest or to read or write together. You can have secret groups, which doesn't mean you're keeping secrets. It just means maybe this is a working group with a set number of people. You can have a private group where people have to ask to join. You can have open groups. I want to make sure that after you join the Teacher Studio that you keep checking back in over the next couple of weeks, especially around groups, because we're very excited to have a poet who's going to start a poetry group. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a young adult reading group very soon. And you can tell us all the groups you want, and we'll begin to make groups available for people who want to do work together. Content is going to be organized by topics so that you can follow topics like tags to ask questions, share resources, and learn together about the things that are most interesting to you. We'll be hosting lots of events, and it's very easy to keep tracks of events via the calendar and event announcements. And the Teacher Studio offers us the opportunity to take deeper dives. So you'll be able to have PD experiences online, join working groups, take a class, enjoy a webinar. All of these are going to be possible in the Teacher Studio. And there are hosts. So there's going to be a lot of people in there over the next few months, we certainly hope. There's going to be a lot of things happening. It might be easy to get confused or lost. And so you'll find a dozen people here to help you find your way. Here's a picture of most of them. And we have invited them to tell you what they most like about the Teacher Studio. And so I am going to hand the baton here in a second to three of our hosts who will tell you a little bit about who they are and why they love the Teacher Studio. And all the Teacher Studio hosts will have videos in the studio. So if you don't hear from them here, we'll be putting up more of these videos throughout the next month.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Williams. I am one of your studio hosts. I'm also a 10th grade English teacher here in South Mississippi. Ask me about anything. If I don't know the answer, we'll figure it out together. I look forward to working with you in this space.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Teacher Studio. I'm Ben Cook, and I'm a co-director of the Southern Nevada Writing Project and a Teacher Studio host. I'm really looking forward to talking more about teaching writing to pre-service and veteran teachers, and you can always ask me about the joys of teaching writing to middle school students. See you around.
Hi everyone, my name is Dominique Herrard. I live in Massachusetts and I'm a first grade teacher. I'm also the associate director of the Boston Writing Project, and I'm really excited about the Teacher Studio and it being a place where teachers can connect, can come together around some of the same questions that we have, some of the things that we're wondering and we're thinking, and doing that collaboratively. I can talk about picture books all day, and I'm especially interested in how picture books and storytelling spaces can be used as anti-racist teaching tools. I'm really interested in thinking of the ways we're reframing narratives in our educational system, how we're decolonizing our curriculum, and I'm just excited to learn and grow with educators from all over the place in this platform. So I'm looking forward to connecting and meeting with a lot of you.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine.
So what are we waiting for? And I can't, the host turned off my video, so I can't turn my video back on. So I'm just gonna go. We're about to throw open the doors of the Right Now Teacher Studio. When you arrive there, you'll be asked to share a little bit about yourself. So first of all, you'll need to set up your profile. You'll be asked to answer 2 questions and to add your photo. And as we know in online spaces, it's really nice to have a picture to go with the words. So please add a picture. We'd love to see it. We'll also ask you where you're from. And that's because the Right Now Teacher Studio will help you find other colleagues near you. It will point you to the closest writing project site, and it will alert you to events that are happening near you when they're face-to-face. We'll ask you about your role. That's because we'll want you to be able to find colleagues in the studio who are most likely to share your questions and your interests. Now, we all know that you all have many roles, but this platform only allows you to choose one. You can always change it, but if it helps, you might want to think about finishing this sentence. I would like to talk to other blank. And then when you're setting up your profile, you might want to take a moment to think about how you want to manage your settings. How do you want to know what's happening in the studio? Would you like to get a ping every time something is posted, or every time someone responds to a post by you? Or would you like to get a daily digest that gives a summary of all the things you might be notified about? This will probably be particularly important over the next few weeks as lots and lots of people are joining the studio. And then finally, you'll be asked to answer an icebreaker question, which will be prompted with "Ask me about blank." And we love to know what you are an expert in, what you care most about, what you really want to talk to others about, or maybe something really interesting about you that most people don't know. And then 2 quick tips for you to think about as you get started. With so many people joining at once, you might not want to get an email every time someone posts something. So when you set up your profile, be sure to go to notifications and choose the settings that you prefer. And we think that a daily digest might be the best choice for now, so you don't get a flood of notifications, again, as lots of people are joining and posting in the studio. And then the last thing, with all the ways in through topics and groups and deeper dives and all the other things Tanya talked about, it could be easy to get lost. So just notice that you have little indications in places about where you are and what you're posting to and whether your post is public or private.
Hi, all. I have the honor to send us all off to the studio. So thank you, Rachel, for some of those tips and tricks in there. So when this webinar ends, we really encourage you to go to the studio and join now. So we want to give you some way to imagine the space as you join it. And I'm gonna put the link in. Okay, there's the link for joining the studio. And what we're encouraging you to do when you get in there is to imagine that you are at a giant conference with all the people here. And you're in the lobby and you're outside the most exciting plenary and the one you've been waiting this whole time for. There's a table, it's selling books, there's a bar and water, of course, and a buffet of food. And there's lots and lots of people around. And some of them you know, and some of them you don't know at all. And, you know, there's an opportunity to meet some new folks and to, as well as chat with friends. So here are some suggestions. I'll put them in the chat. So we are encouraging you to go into this new space, to welcome the people you know as well as the people you don't know, and to try a few things. So here's some things. So Rachel said that when you join, you'll answer the question, ask me about. So why don't you find somebody's ask me about and ask them something. So also you can see people with the same roles as you.
So why don't you find someone with a similar role that you have, someone new you haven't met before, and introduce yourself. One of the cool things about the platform is when you set up your profile, you can say where you live. So we can all sort of know people who live near us. So why don't you find someone who lives near you and just say hi. The topics that Tanya mentioned are on the left side. So click on that and see which ones you think are most interesting and follow a few of the topics that you think might be something that you want to start with. You can also chat with others. There's an event chat in there that we can just use because it's related to this event. There's also a way to private chat message, a little sort of quote bar up the top right. And you can find people to private chat that way if you want to do that. And also, just to say, there is a link on the left to the NWP bookshop page too, if you want to check that out. So when you're ready, just go on in and join. We're really excited to have you. I'll make sure okay, so the link is in the chat now. So excited to see you all there.